Okay, guys, welcome into the video. I'm going to do something a little bit different this time. This is another time lapse of the Therapy Hills Farm, the 2.0 build. I got a new microphone off of eBay, so this is kind of me testing it out. It works both for PC and Xbox, so it's one of the only ones in my research I could find that work directly in the Xbox. No headset needed, nothing licensed. So yeah, this farm worked perfectly fine, but I just decided wanted to change it up a bit. Had some ideas, saw some ideas from Simulation Station, and immediately knew that that's what I wanted to do here as well. Gotta love how that tractor just dropped about a foot to the ground. Concrete was ripped out from underneath it. Gravity doesn't exist here. But yeah, we're gonna move all the equipment out of the way. Put the old 1486 to work here. As you can see with this farm, I've gone with a very 90s vibe, kind of an early 90s dairy, all older equipment. Pretty small scale. The field is deceptively large though, and the fields are all contoured. So I live in western Wisconsin. These fields are what I grew up seeing. The farm that we worked as a kid, but yeah, this is the style fields that we had. There were a few just wide open square fields, but for the most part we contoured everything. Here I hoped I could get lucky and pick up those fruit barrels, but it doesn't work that way, so I'll have to come up with something else. I do play on console, hence the lack of a proper chopper box there. I'm going to figure something else out. That silage boss just does not look right as a pull behind. So we're going to take the truck here, drive down to the store, and get a couple of things to help me clear the tree first of all. And we're going to bring a 4010 to the farm. I think this will be a nice little chorin tractor. Throw it on the rake, that kind of thing. I didn't notice at the time, but I put the loader attacher on it, which means I will not be able to pick up those fertilizer tanks. You'll see me fix that here in a bit. All right, so we'll drive this back down to the farm. And first things first, we'll get this tree taken out, just like that. Here's where my brain realizes, oops, can't do what I need it to do, so let's jump over to the toolbox. Get those picked up, moved off to the side here. Yeah, we'll start thinking here. Obviously, anybody who messes around and builds farms, you'll plop something down, stare at it for a while, realize you don't like it. Maybe you love it, probably you don't. Take it back out. It's a never-ending process. I've been real big on clipping things and adding things inside of buildings lately. Anyone who's watched any of my videos. Even here, I've got my bale storage packed inside of a BC Bueller shed. Buildable beef lot inside of one of Lancy Boy's buildings. And the silo complex that is in my head is also going to go in that same Lancy building. Just want to make sure the buildings are the same color. That's the idea I want to go with here. 4 silos tucked inside the big shed. Looking at it though, I did not love the flow of that by any means. I know this is the size shed I want to go with and the 4 silos, but something just didn't jive, so I do live stream this farm on Twitch, so most likely here I'm talking to both Eric and Soup, getting their opinions on it. They've been with me pretty much every stream on this one, building it out with me. So my thought was silos were just too far away from the barn. Didn't quite look right. So here I stack them up with just a laneway, little alley between the barn and the fill points. And we're going to try that out. Alright, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. Looks like it's plenty of room to drive through with the whatever trailer we're going to end up with to unload into the silos. I do love my Butler sheds. That little one though, I don't even know where I got that, but it just didn't fit it didn't fit. Style wise, vibe, really storage space, not ideal. But one thing I do know about this farm is I lack a proper shop. So, kind of digging through. I mean, I had the little toolbox. That's all fine and dandy, but a proper shop just makes everything that much better. Anybody that's ever watched any of my videos or kind of followed me on SimStation's Discord knows that when you see the BC Bueller shed go up, that there's going to be a hay storage shed happening. So I'm just trying to get the land sloped out. It's not steep, but just rolling enough that I had to kind of level that up, make it easier to approach. And then I thought there's got to be something we can add in right here, just a little, like an open storage. That little building from the White Farm barn pack fits pretty nicely, actually. As I do these builds, I like to jump out, kind of run around, get the feel on the ground level as the player. Make sure there's not any huge rough spots or spikes, anything like that. Close your eyes, you didn't see those signs. The government doesn't help here. But yeah, I jumped out of the house. Wanted to get some growth stages going on these contours to see just how they look, and I think it's pretty cool. It's a fun build. That little guy is an interesting mod. To me, it just looks like a drag. I always called it a drag growing up, but it acts as a roller in game, so it kind of fit the style for me. Just an old piece of equipment. It's kind of what I'm running with. I don't want to use a giant roller. There's not really a lot of North American rollers to begin with, so we're gonna drop that in the shed. One side note as I continue to play, this is older. I've been playing on this farm for a little bit, but that little roller harrow drag tends to drift. I've noticed it's like 3 feet outside of the shed now, and I haven't used it since that day, so I may park something in front of it to see if that prevents it from continuing to run away. So here I'm happy enough with the layout, so let's start throwing some equipment back in the sheds, get things cleaned up a bit. I parked this disc in the shed, but I feel like this drifts too. So at some point in this series as I've gone along, I just park it out in the grass, somewhere in the weeds next to the trees. Seems fitting. I don't know that growing up we kept any of our tillage equipment under a roof. Pretty sure all the tillage stuff just sat outside. And here, I thought about cutting this out, but maybe I can get everyone's opinion out there in the YouTube world. Going for a 90s vibe, I feel like that disc pine is newer than that. I'm pretty sure. I don't know the exact year, but there is a small John Deere haybine disc pine out there on the mod hub. So let me know in the comments if you think I should buy that instead to fit the era of what I'm going for more so. This baler is sweet, but I think I eventually end up selling that and I go with Rooster's little Massey squares. Running the little squares on this farm. Little squares and I've got a Kloss round baler as well. And there you can see I'm circling back in my mind like I need that shop, a good proper shop. So really looking at dropping that legacy shop down right over there next to the barn. Feels a little crowded, but it's nice to have everything kind of packed into one area. One thing I've been meaning to do was to test this little John Deere auger. I don't think it's going to reach. I bought it hoping that it would, but found out here if I wedge it up there it will, but it's more of a discharge auger. So I'll have to buy another one in the future for that, but that's not priority right now. Just getting everything put away. Kind of clearing out this spot over here to look at some shop options. Just noticed here that the building didn't quite sit down on the ground. The downfalls of using the place anywhere aspect of it, but I think a little bit of grass clean that right up. You won't even notice. But it's time to kind of fix up these roads, keep the pathways and trails looking normal here, but in the past I've just gone put gravel everywhere, but I've quickly realized there's nothing natural looking about that. There's not a lot of farms out there that's just pouring thousands of cubic feet of gravel. Yeah, looking at that, I didn't put the bales in it yet, so here I'm going to pop those bale storage points there. I find out later the little ones I'm putting in only hold 150. Doing the little squares, you can't even unload an entire rooster hay rack into one of those. So mistakes were made, but you'll see at the end of the video here, Pleasant View Farms old style dairy barn makes its way in down by the river, and that guy holds I think 1,800 bales. So 'tis the ideal barn for anybody running small squares and small dairy. So I'm just going to run around here a bit and clean up all the grass, get some grass planted. Costs a small fortune. I always forget when placing these silos that if you do the free place, it won't mess with the ground here. So I should attempt to make my lanes. It's not as big of a deal here. Gravel looks fine, but I have some other farms where it'd be nice to have a little laneway through there. But once they're placed, you cannot change the ground texture in front of them at all. So I do decide the legacy shop needs to be put in over here. And go back and kind of clean up some more of this grass and gravel mess. Find it much easier to just throw all the grass down first and then come through and paint your gravel roads through, but this worked out. Wasn't as awkward as it's been in the past for me. Another flyover view of the fields, because why not? Pretty happy with those little pathways and roads. Just gotten pretty good about using both joysticks on the Xbox controller to kind of naturally flow with the corners. Did realize here though, you can't use the legacy shop with the free place. Like you have to get it on ground where it's gonna properly put it down. So close your eyes, you didn't see those signs. Wait for an hour and voila, you got money. Thought about some different spots, but in the end decided right up here next to the barn. As close as it'll let me get it is the best, so. Yeah, once I got that fixed, just some little things, and in just a second here we're going to kind of do the final flyover. Sorry you have to deal with the build menu. Don't have a proper fly mode in Xbox, but we're going to throw in some music here and away we go. All right, thank you all so much for watching. If you have made it this far into the video, please hit that thumbs up, give me a like, subscribe if you feel like you enjoy the content. We've got more coming. And yeah, appreciate it, guys. Take care. See you in the next one.